Years ago, when I went through the master's program, my master's program that I was in spiritual psychology, which is the study and practice of conscious awareness. And I've talked about that several times on this podcast and my previous podcast as well. It's very, very powerful program that allowed me to ultimately do the work I needed to do within myself, for myself, and in many situations by myself in the quiet, that allowed me to then go out and be able to share that work and that body of evidence ultimately with other people over the past 2 decades plus. But there were a number of things that were said in the program that were said pretty much early on that anybody who's ever been through the program who may be listening will immediately go, oh, yeah. But one of the expressions was outer experience is a reflection of inner reality. So if you see clutter everywhere and you become anxious and uneasy within, it means that your inner reality is also cluttered and anxious and uneasy, which makes, complete sense, total complete sense to me then and now, as it continues to do and play out from time to time when I find myself in certain situations where I've slipped into a form of unconsciousness where I'm not present to the moment, and I'm realizing that my environment is really reflecting back to me an uneasiness, a dis-ease within inside of my brain and in my body. And I've also been in scenarios and situations where I can see clutter and I can see it and then have learned how to move it, how to release it, that which can be released, perhaps in service to other people, up into the ethers, how to just completely let it go, and how to ultimately also reframe sometimes those experiences so that I'm able to take it to another level of transformation for myself, potentially for others as well. But also be able to be in an environment where sometimes I just am in an environment that is clearly clutter, and not really have a reaction to it, but really just know what needs to get done. And that's just been a practice of mine over a couple decades and things that I work with people, especially with understanding what the inside game is, because the inside game really is the internal inside cleaning that needs to take place in order for me, for you, my belief, for me, for you to be able to be more effective externally in the world. Even when there are things that appear to be clutter or hiccups or blockages, to be able to learn how to respond to those things. So it became evident to me, and I've learned this process, and I ultimately also learned a component to help clear clutter. I don't remember if I read it somewhere or watched a video on it, but it changed everything for me on top of everything that I had been doing internally for myself, because that allowed me to be able to access my inside game regardless of the environment that I'm in. There are times where I've literally just had a very tiny small section of a couch to sit and meditate for any number of reasons, where there's stuff all around me, but I'm oblivious to it because I'm perfectly centered, perfectly grounded, and sometimes even have a dog on my lap to boot. But I've learned this process, and I don't know, like I said, I'm not 100% sure where I learned it, but it stuck with me. That's the most important part, is that it's sticky. And I learned to be able to walk into an environment. You ever, like, sometimes people walk into like a kitchen, let's say their kitchen and their dining room and their kitchen table and the sink, and they look around, there's dishes everywhere, there's mess everywhere, and they start to pick up something here. Whatever's in their eyesight in the moment, they grab and they pick up. And they've been doing it maybe for 5 or 10 minutes. And then they look around the same area and it looks like they haven't done anything. It feels like they haven't accomplished anything. So I learned this process, and it's really helped me because it's helped me to be able to see ultimately and experience a sense inside of accomplishment. And so what I've learned to do is I've learned to start at like the furthest corner of the family room and work my way towards the way our house is set up. You don't know, but work my way from the family room into the kitchen all the way to the sink. And I refuse to pick up anything that I may notice along the way. I see it, I'm aware of it, but I don't touch it. I don't need to. And I know that it will just delay me and create distractions. And isn't that interesting how we do that in life? Is how we get, oh, squirrel, and we find ourselves distracted. So it became really apparent to me when I was helping and had been helping my mother-in-law clear out her apartment. She's living in a two-bedroom den, kind of an office condo. A lot of space, didn't need it, but kind of had moved to a stage of life where an independent living scenario would be better off, where meals were available and all that stuff, just where there and be around people, more people. So my wife and I had found this place, and in the process of moving her, we were kind of leaving her to her own devices on the actual moving part, like packing things up. Because naturally, I can't go through her clothes. I don't know what she wears, what she doesn't wear, what she wants, what she doesn't want. But I said to my wife, I said, she sounds so exhausted on the phone. And she looked at me and she said, we should probably go over there. I said, you're right. I said, we should see, we need to know, are we going to be able to get her out of here, in a reasonable amount of time before she collapses, because it's just too much. And so we went over to her place and we walked in the door, and I guess the best way to describe it is, imagine if you've ever been in a scenario or have seen on a movie where people come home and their house is ransacked. They've been robbed, or the drug kingpin is looking for their money or something, and everything's ripped up and torn up. Well, this wasn't ripped up and torn up, but trust me when I say this, every drawer that she must have, I could actually see it in my mind of her just walking over to a drawer, opening it, starting to go through it, get it bored, get distracted. The phone rings. She ends up in another room, another drawer, starts there, doesn't finish, goes someplace else into the kitchen, gets something to eat. All of a sudden opens up a drawer. Oh, I got to get rid of this. I got to do this. Now imagine. So there's piles everywhere, like everywhere. And I didn't get flustered. See, the outer experience was a reflection of my inner reality. My outer experience is, oh, this is what's going on for her. I know how to help. Not like, oh my God, I'm so anxious now because it's revealing a part of me in this moment that is uneasy inside, that's cluttered inside, that's got mess everywhere. Didn't have it. So it was a powerful, in that moment, reflection that my inside game was on point. That I actually had empathy and compassion for her rather than disdain or anger or frustration, which would ultimately be also a reflection of what I'm feeling within for myself, about myself. So I turned to my wife. I said, listen, I want to do that process that I always do at the house, where I start in the furthest corner and work our way. Otherwise, we're never getting out of here. She said, fine. She goes, good luck keeping her focused. I said, no, I got it. I got it. So I grabbed a couple trash bags. And I said, Mom, come with me. She's like, what? I said, just follow me. And I went all the way into the second bedroom closet and just started pulling things, anything that was anything, because everything had to go, right? So everything either had to go in the trash, everything, it went in the trash, or it went in a box or a bag of things that she was going to take. And sometimes it was a brief discussion. She goes, oh, I need that. I go, what for? And she goes, oh, I don't know. I go, trash. I threw in the trash. And so we literally went through everything, so that by the time the closet was done, it was empty. There was nothing there. Anything that was going to stay in the closet that belonged to the owner of the condo, that would be it. All of her stuff would be out. And as soon as I then finished in the closet, I closed the closet door. Now think about this. Think about this within your own inside game. How you entertain all these different thoughts. And I'm in this too. This is not you language, like I'm pointing at you. I'm in this too. But let's talk it this way. Think about how we, all of us, from time to time, will look at something and say, oh, I really need to deal with that. I'm not going to deal with it right now. And I walk away. And then the clutter gets more. You have a situation in your life that you're not dealing with, that I'm not going through. I don't want to deal with that right now. It's a con. That conversation is going to turn into an argument. It's going to create drama. I don't want to deal with it right now. And we put it off. And it only gets worse because things just what? Pile up. But what we did was is we decided that everything was going to have a place. It was either going to be in the trash. We're done. We don't need it. We have no use for it. We've never used it. It's a nice thought that we might use it someday, but we, in the past 3 to 5 years, have never used it. We don't need it. Now, some people could say, well, it makes it easier, doesn't it, Mitch? Because you were moving into a place that was substantially smaller, so she can't take a lot of stuff. It's like, no, I would do this scenario with anyone or anything. Because wherever we go, we are taking stuff with us. We are taking the internal thoughts with us. We are taking those experiences with us. We are taking different reactions and responses we've had to different environments with us. The question is what of that no longer serves us that we can either throw out, give away, because there was the giveaway pile, because there are certain things that other people could use that didn't necessarily have to go in the trash, that someone else could get use out of it, that could be a savior for somebody. So we often talk about it from a spiritual perspective. It was when I let something go, I release it up into the ethers in service to someone else who may need it. Well, in this situation, it was in a pile that was going to go to a charity or to someone who really could use this. Whether they were going to sell it, didn't matter. Whether they were going to put it in their living room and think, oh my God, this is amazing, didn't matter. We had no more use for it. So the question becomes is, what are you carrying around? What do I continue to carry around that we have no use for? Now, one of the reasons that I also like to do this process is because as I work from the closet into the bedroom, and then once the bedroom was completely done, just like the closet was completely done, there were things that needed to be thrown out in the trash. I didn't create trash piles. Why? Because I'm smart enough to realize my mother-in-law is no different than any of us, myself included, that if we didn't get rid of it and get it right into the trash, there was probably going to be a period of time we were going to start to look through it and go, I really could use that. Wait, what's this? Oh, I really could use this. Wasn't leaving anything to chance. The closet was done. Whatever was trash went right into the trash bin down the street in the complex. And then I came back. So there was nothing to reconsider. There was nothing to go over. There was nothing to mull over about. It was a decision that was made, a commitment that was followed through on, that I no longer need this. That this is trash, or this is giveaway, or this is going. This I'm taking with me. And so as soon as that closet was done, the door was closed. And as soon as the bedroom was done, the door was closed. And then we went into the second bathroom, the same process. What is this? I don't know what that is. Okay, you don't need it then. Trash. Did the same process throughout the whole place. Now, one of the cool parts of all this is after we got through that side of the house, that side of the apartment, right, is I said, come on, take a walk with me. And I opened up the closet. It was empty. And we went into the bedroom. It was empty. And went to the bathroom. It was done. I said, how do you feel as a result of like letting all of this stuff go? And she actually felt better. So I ask you, how much better do you feel when you let something go that no longer serves you, that you're done with, that you're complete with? We were complete with this side. And so there was also this gnawing sense of, in a good way, a sense of accomplishment. Like, look what we accomplished. When you can't see your own progress because there's mess all around you, you start to judge yourself. Just like when you start picking up anything you see right off the bat in your environment, and you start, I'm going to clean this up here, and then you throw it in the trash, whatever, and then all of a sudden you look around and it's like, there's still a mess. I don't understand. I've been working for 10 minutes. There's still a mess. So we don't give ourselves the opportunity to be able to have those small little celebrations where we go, I've released that. I no longer need that. Or I'm giving this away. I feel good about what I'm giving away to someone because I know they could really use this. The stuff that no longer served me now serves someone else for whatever their highest good is. Their highest good may be to sell it so they could put food on the table. That's not my business. And so we got through it. And each room, once the trash was done from that room, I didn't want to create any opportunity for us, for myself, for her, for my wife to look in the bag and, well, what are you throwing out? You know, the joke I used to make is I used to tell people, and sometimes it's a joke, but sometimes, I mean, let's be honest, it's happened. My wife will go out, or she'll, go up to LA to see our daughter for a couple days, and I know that something needs to be cleaned out or whatever, and I know that she's going to go, well, what's that? Well, what's that? And I just throw it in the trash. I get it right out of the trash, and she never knows it's gone. There's people that will tell you that if you haven't used something for 3 years or 3 to 5 years and it's just sitting there and you're thinking, well, maybe someday I'll use it, get rid of it. Well, I've been holding on to thoughts for not 3 to 5 years, but from 30 to 50 years that need to go. And we all have that. We all have that. So we got through it. And then you look back and you go, I feel so much lighter now. I feel so much better inside. It's a reflection of now I feel more calm inside. Or now it allows me to get to what's inside. Now that my environment is clear and it's clean. So your environment is your biggest predictor of success as you define success in any and every area of your life. And I talk about this to people, entrepreneurs and people who come away to different seminars, different company gatherings, and they go away and there are thousands of people cheering and screaming, and everybody's there feeling the same way, thinking the same thoughts, excited about the same things, exposed to the same things. There's an energy, there's an essence. And then you then have to be able to transfer that home. But when you walk in the door and there's a spouse or a loved one who needs something from you or needs you to be who you were before you walked out that door, you immediately switch back into that. Same thoughts, same feelings, same experiences. And it's a killer to everything that you've just experienced. So the environment is so powerful. When that space was actually clear, and my wife and I actually went back a day or two later to show it to somebody for the owner. The place looked really good. Like, oh wow, like I never really appreciated the place, even when my mother-in-law was there. Like I was appreciating it now, just how clean it was, just how light and airy it was, just how open it was, just how it was just better for me. And I'm like, wow, this is a really good place. So we get to clear out, we get to clean out stuff. We get to use the experience, and the outer experience is a reflection of inner reality, so that if we notice that our inner reality is disturbed, that we can actually do something with that. And that inside game component, my inside game in that moment of walking into my mother-in-law's was I wasn't flustered at all. I didn't go, oh my God, this is crazy. Oh my God, what are we going to do? I go, nope. I knew exactly what we're going to do. All right, we're going to start back here. Like I just knew. So it reflected that my inner reality was clean. And now I could actually be on point and on purpose and really serve at a higher level of consciousness and awareness because I wasn't triggered by it. Because my day includes throughout my day my inside game. So those moments of being thrown by my environment become less and less. And those moments of being thrown by my environment happen, when they do happen for shorter durations of time. Why? Because I'm able to access my inside game. The inside clearing that needs to take place so that I can experience my external world in a more powerful way. So that I could see the solution of what needed to happen in this situation for my mother-in-law, and honestly for myself and my wife, so we could get done what we needed to get done to accomplish what, because my mother-in-law in that moment could not see how in the world she was going to get out of there, and was thrilled beyond thrilled when she finally saw it all coming together. Why? Because she could look back at certain parts of the place and see a sense of, and feel a sense of completion around something. We have that opportunity within our own inside game to release what no longer serves us, to give away to others perhaps what may serve them on some level, to be able to reframe experiences at a higher level of consciousness, to transform an environment to be a reflection of the cleanliness of our own internal environment. I'm Mitch Newman. We'll see you again next time.